All right. Hello and welcome everybody back to the Team Next Level Coaches Roundtable. I'm joined today by my co-hosts, Rich, Marilyn, and James. What's up, guys?
Hey.
What's up?
How's everybody doing this
Hi.
week?
Doing well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving coming up.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, Turkey Day.
Mhm.
What's everybody's favorite food for Thanksgiving?
Well, we don't have like your typical Thanksgiving food, so
Does
Does
that
it mean
mean?
you can't answer
that
the
wasn't the
question?
it
question.
does. I mean, well, it's
I think she means beer.
yes, I have that. But we don't have turkey. We have pork and rice and beans.
So which of those is your favorite?
Pork.
Okay.
What kind of pork? Like, how is it prepared?
It all depends.
Like a hot
Sometimes we'll
dog?
do a pig. No, no, that is not. Probably barbecue.
Oh wow!
Pork. Mhm.
You don't? Are you doing it at your house?
Yes.
Oh, I might walk over.
You wanna walk over? We eat about 5.
5. Okay, awesome.
We eat at 3, so I might have time.
Yeah, we're not too far.
I'll ride my bike
You're
over.
not far over.
What's you can do races where you do bar hopping. You could do like turkey hopping, jog from one house to another. What about you, James?
There's something my wife makes. We call it corn souffle.
Oh, I
Mhm.
love corn souffle.
Yeah, and the irony is that for the first 2 years she would make it, and nobody would touch it because I don't know, corn souffle sounded
It's so
weird.
good.
It sounds terrible.
It's
But
delicious.
But now, like
It
every
is
year,
yummy.
everyone is like wants it, and then like my neighbors, like they've had it. Like we'll do it like when we do a barbecue or something. We'll have some corn souffle out there, and
Mhm.
like my neighbor John, you guys met him,
Mhm.
the other John. He asked for the recipe this year, and so like he's gonna integrate it into his Thanksgiving now.
Oh, nice.
I think we need a podcast on recipes,
Mhm.
Thanksgiving recipes.
What about
Rich,
I don't have a favorite. I also am not a big turkey eater,
you? Mm-hmm.
but there are dishes that come around on Thanksgiving when we get family together that aren't around all the time. I'll mention one just so that people can cringe. Liver pate comes around. So I don't
That's a
Sounds
favorite of
bougie.
yours?
I don't think it's a
Sounds super
favorite, but I
bougie.
definitely like try a lot more stuff on Thanksgiving because it just isn't around all the time. But
is there also like some like beluga caviar?
I don't think so.
Mhm.
No, but maybe this year.
Probably some beluga vodka.
There's definitely vodka.
Yeah.
Mm.
How about you?
Turkey.
Mm.
Yeah, boring.
What's the stuffing?
Well, so I fry the turkey, so you can't use.
Isn't
I
that like
wanna
that-
see.
That outside thing that
Yeah,
that
so
there's
for a-
many videos of people getting
You
burned.
eat at 3. I'll be
Yeah.
over before mine
Well,
because
wait,
I
hold
always
on.
want to try that.
deep fried turkey?
So years
Yeah.
ago, for maybe like 7 or 8 years, I deep fried the turkey. It's delicious, absolutely phenomenal.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
hated turkey before I started deep frying it. The cleanup sucks.
Oh.
Like you're dealing with 6 or 7 gallons of oil, and
Oh,
it's
it's
super
not-
hot.
it's
So
not
you have
cheap
to.
either.
No, it's not cheap. I probably spent like $50 or $60 a year on oil, and then like you can't clean it up that day, or at least then because
too
it's
hot.
You have
hot.
to wait,
You have to wait
yeah.
for it to cool down, and then it's like the next day. I don't want to just deal with it, so it got to be a pain in the ass. I bought an infrared, like it's basically an air
Charbroil?
fryer. Yeah.
Wow.
I have that. I used that last year.
And
For
what'd you
turkey?
think? So they call it an air fryer.
It's-
It cooks the turkey probably half, or half as quick as in the oven, and half as fast as a turkey fryer. I'm very pleased with it.
I think it's not as great as deep frying in oil.
Yeah.
It's not as moist
Right.
and doesn't get. You get the same crispiness,
Mm-hmm.
but just the cleanup alone.
Yeah,
is-
makes it 100%
That's
much better.
worth it.
Yeah.
So I like it a lot.
It's like
It-
the big easy charbroiled turkey
Yeah,
air fryer.
I'm
or
sure
something.
it's basically like an air fryer.
Mhm.
Also
Um,
safer, right? Because aren't the oil
yeah,
ones? kind
yeah.
of
The
unsafe?
oil ones could be a little.
You can't
sketchy.
trust the line on the oil fry, like where it says like for a 20-pound turkey, fill your oil up to here.
Mhm.
You always gotta go less because as soon as you put that turkey in, it always overflows,
And then the
that's
oil
where-
gets onto the fire, and then
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
more fire. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's super dangerous.
but it tastes so good.
It tastes so good.
I've never tried
If
it.
I didn't
always
have to,
wanted
if I didn't have to clean up, I'd fry it every year.
I've saved the oil once where like you say you filter it, you save it, and then Christmas I would do another turkey or something just because I had the oil. It's like I got to get 2 uses out of this.
2 uses, yeah. So I like turkey. My wife makes a phenomenal mac and cheese. I look forward to that too. So
You guys have good dinner.
That's good stuff.
I know.
I kind of want barbecued pork though.
Speaking of turkey and oil, should we get into the hydration and the nutrition portion of our podcast?
So this episode, we thought what we'd talk about is we're all kind of moving indoors for a lot of our training, I think, now that wintertime's rolling around. Races are done for the most part, but I think fueling your training is a big spot that people could make a lot of improvements in what they do and how and see better gains because they fuel properly during their workouts. So we thought that would be a good thing to talk about for a little bit. We're going to try and keep this one a little shorter than our last one. That last one was a long one. So let's kind of start with a couple of the definitions and stuff and the big stuff. So difference or same, I guess, between hydration and fueling. How do you guys, or do you give those a difference? How do you handle those two things, or even think about them as two different things when it comes to your workouts?
I think that you have to define each one, right? So, I think hydration, for example, is water and electrolytes, and fueling was more about carbs and that kind of stuff that goes through your body. So it's just a definition thing. So I think if we define it as the way we think about it here, then I think it just makes sense.
Right. That's kind of the way I look at it is fluid replacement versus calorie replacement. And if as soon as you start thinking about them as those two separate things, I think it becomes easier to figure out those questions because they are two very different things. And once you start stretching your workouts out beyond a certain point, it becomes really hard to, I think, get both of those right with one thing, like one bottle to solve all your things that you need to solve.
No, I might be doing it wrong, which is highly likely, but I like to use like a product like Tailwind. It's electrolytes and carbs in it, right? But I count that as just my hydration. I kind of like to use it thinking I'm getting some bonus carbs, and I have my separate fueling, but I just figure, well, if I have some calories in this, why not? And I can tolerate it.
Yeah.
But I don't depend on that as my fueling.
As your fueling.
I just count it as hydration, but bonuses, there's some carbs in it.
So when are you using that? Like what kind of workout are you using Tailwind plus fuel?
Tailwind plus fuel would be like on longer, like long workouts.
Okay.
I don't need it for like a short workout. Short workout, I may even just only use water.
What's long? Like over an hour?
Yeah,
2
I was just
hours?
gonna ask this roundtable question, right? Do you need to use anything if you're working out less than an hour?
So I think that's
Depends.
Yeah, I think that depends.
Okay,
Great
well.
answer. So let's do this though. Let's put a pin in that one and worry about hydration first because that's the one you do have to worry about all the time, 100%, right? So you can't function once you're dehydrated, and there's different studies out there at different percentages. You lose this amount of ability and stuff like that. We're not going to get into those specifics, but making sure you replace the majority of the water you lose is important, right? You don't just lose water either. So that's where the electrolytes come in. Has anybody ever done a sweat test?
I did.
And what kind did you do?
They put a patch on your skin and it stimulates kind of like when you get stim and then it stimulates your sweat glands and then they measure that. I'm not sure about where I went. They were in the process of changing the person who did it, but yeah, I mean, I did it and I followed their plan and I've never had an issue.
And do you remember like any of the numbers they told you or any of the details?
I would have to dig it up.
Yeah. Was it with Precision Hydration? Was that the
no?
They're a popular one.
They are.
They are.
Yeah, they have really good products.
Now, when they gave you your plan, was it something totally different than what you had been doing?
Yes, I needed a lot more potassium and salt, sodium.
Potato water.
Hmm.
I just like weighed myself before and after.
Yeah,
That's
and
not a sophisticated one, but I think it's a good one.
I think it's
It's a
probably
good start.
it's
yeah.
the
Do you
probably
weigh
a
yourself
great spot to start
with the bike or without the bike?
I think either way, you get the same result.
Yeah, right.
So just like that is what you do is you get on a scale naked, you do your workout, and you record how much fluid you take in, and then you get off, you get undressed again and dry yourself off. Take any of the sweat that's on your body off and get back on the scale. And then you've got a pints a pound the world around, and you can figure out how much weight you lost. And that tells you that plus whatever you took in is your fluid loss for, and usually you normalize it for an hour. And then you can get an idea at least where you're at.
How much is 1 ounce of fluid? Like, what does that weigh? Like, if you took in 20 ounces of fluid,
20 ounces of weight.
so
that's where like a
it's
16
one-
ounce a pint weighs
Is
a
a
pound.
pound.
Yeah. Sorry. Well,
let's edit that out.
Nope, that one's staying in
The
there.
density of water is what, 1 gram per.
1 gram per milliliter.
I was wondering where he was going with that.
Let's edit that one out.
Yeah. So I think that's a good spot to put you in a good, to start from. Does anybody drink just plain water when they're exercising?
Wait a minute. Isn't a fluid ounce different than a weight ounce?
Yeah, but if it's water, it's.
All right, I was trying to redeem myself.
Oh, good try.
Just get a shovel.
Yeah.
Does anybody drink just water?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I did ask the question. We put a pin on it, and it depends on how much workout you're doing that day, and it depends for me what time of day and what I'm doing that workout with. So sometimes it is just water.
Can you give us a scenario when it's just water?
I did a pool workout today, and then it was just water.
Okay.
And it was just set of 50s, and it was a 2,400 total.
We did the same workout.
Yeah, maybe. So yeah, I just had water. There was no other nutrition plan for that. It's also the I guess kind of like after a rest day, first workout of the week, and I didn't need anything else.
What time of day did you do it?
Around 12.
So you had fed already?
Yep,
You'd been
exactly.
drinking. Okay.
Yep.
And I think that's probably the biggest difference is, so I don't think I ever drank just water unless the other bottle that I've got with me has got both electrolytes and fuel in it. So I might have a water bottle just to deal with I don't want to take in any flavor. Like I get sick of whatever I'm fueling with. So I want plain water just to kind of rinse my mouth out. But usually it's got electrolytes in it.
Doesn't matter what time of day. Doesn't matter what workout. Doesn't matter if it's 15
Why does the
minutes.
time of day matter?
Because I've had
Doesn't matter.
I've had my not workout nutrition, but I was I wasn't hungry. I had nutrition. I had coffee. I had like everything that I needed. I didn't need to top up anything, and my workout wasn't very long.
Okay.
I think that's valid.
Mhm.
I don't think there's a need for you to always be taking in some kind of product. I honestly, a lot of the times it's just for flavor.
I usually
So is it carbs and
That one depends.
electrolytes, or were you just always electrolytes and sometimes carbs?
So then that's why I was going to wait for it.
Right.
Most of my training is done first thing in the morning.
Mhm.
So I'm not having breakfast. I'm coming into it fasted. So I'm going to take in carbs. Yeah.
All right. Just
Yeah.
wanted to point that out. Sorry, James.
I was saying that I think for me, if it's like a 1 hour workout or shorter, I'm fine with just water. And if I'm not doing like a brick session or something, I'm fine with just water. And then 2, I'm just cheap. Like I don't want to waste my my powders and whatnot. Some of the stuff that you recommended me, like cis, beta fuel, and
Those are
something
really
else.
expensive.
When I was
they're
doing the half
expensive.
Ironman, I was like, if I used it, I was like, I'm drinking all this. I'm not wasting any
Yeah.
of this. And I would only use that for like key training sessions and race day, just to make sure my gut was used to it. But I think most of the time I just do water if it's a 1 hour or less. If I'm running, if it's like 1 hour, I don't even take water with me. I just run. It's like an hour and a half. I think I'm usually fine without.
Nothing. You don't take anything.
Mm-mm.
How about you, Marilyn?
So if it's a workout and it's an hour or less, it depends. If I'm doing a strength workout where I know I'm going to sweat a lot, then I'll put something in my water for sure. If I'm just doing an easy 30-minute upper body, then no, it'll just be water. And then anytime I go over an hour, then it's for sure there's electrolytes and I'm taking nutrition and.
Okay. So we kind of got a little bit of everything. I think if I did a lot of my training later on in the day, what I do would be different.
Yeah, I'm with you, Greg. So like that was an example, but every morning there is electrolytes, carbs, and caffeine.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think
So
those are important because my workouts will suffer if I don't take that in.
Mm-hmm.
Coming off a night of sleep and just trying to jump into even an easy ride, Monday I did just an hour easy on the bike, and I needed just and that's you'll vary what I put in, how much carbs and stuff I put in. But fuel or hydration, I really try and push lots and lots of fluids. Indoors, I'm at like a liter an hour is kind of my number that I try and hit. And it's always got electrolytes in it just because I'm sweating a lot, especially indoors.
I do the same.
Something I try to think about is the energy level throughout the day. And the reason I mention that is because what I plan for the morning workout and the nutrition during the morning workout will directly correlate to how you feel 2, 3, 4 o'clock throughout in the day with your nutrition and what you're eating. So it may not feel like much, but it's a good thing to think about and do in the morning. And then you'll be like, oh, well, I feel much different at 2, 3 o'clock because I had those carbs and hydration.
Right. Huh. James.
And what you eat after too.
Yeah.
James, no.
We're all looking at James the whole episode.
He's just making a face. That's
He's just red.
You can just hear the light bulb like turning on every time somebody here says something.
I just live in the moment. That's what I do.
I love it.
Because everybody has these like I even a lot of times have the 2, 3 o'clock coffee. It's like that. I need another coffee at that time to get me through the day. But I try to level it out and nutrition during your morning workout, which is good nutrition, will help with having your body energy throughout the day be at a good level.
And it also, I think, the deeper you get into your training, the more it helps you recover for the next session that you've got. It becomes very apparent when you start trying to do 2 sessions a day. But even if you're not fueling that hard session one day, recovering in time to do another good session the next day is tough. So you're not always eating for that session. You're eating sometimes for the next workout.
1,000%.
Yeah, I feel like I have something because I know it's not going to hurt me and it'll make me feel better for my next workout.
Like sugar is an ergogenic aid. Like they've done studies on this, literally, and the receptors are in your mouth. So even if you don't swallow it, if you just swish around a sugary solution in your mouth, your rate of perceived exertion goes down.
Now, let me ask you this question. Does having all this sugar, like all these carbs from training, because we are active, do we not have to worry about like insulin sensitivity or anything like that?
Theoretically not.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, but like Greg is right. But you're not also taking in that. You're not eating a cake while you're working out.
I mean, when we're trying to push in,
no, but I mean,
like 60 grams of carb an hour.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're eating a cake while you're working out.
I mean, I
That's good.
eat a lot. What were you gonna say?
So there's some great podcasts. I don't know if anybody listens to Peter Attia. He's got these really long form podcasts that are excellent, and every once in a while he has a guest who really, really knows what they're talking about this kind of stuff. Pro endurance athletes are metabolically the picture of perfect health. Their response to what happens when you put sugar in your system is exactly what you want. You put sugar in, insulin comes up. You eat the sugar, it eats the sugar, insulin goes down. That's what you want to happen. what happens in people who are type 2 diabetics or pre-diabetics is they're not sensitive to that insulin. So you put more insulin into the system and the sugar is not coming down. And that's where the problems lie. So no, if you're putting enough in and your body's able to process it, you're okay.
Okay.
So yeah, it's not really something we have to worry about during the workout. I think even when you're pushing, large amounts of carbs.
Yeah, so we're a little bit on a tangent. I want to bring us back and talk about more on the hydration piece. Also about, you said, you're focused on that, and I think it's also worth noting the caffeine aspect of things. I'm a huge fan of caffeine, coffee, and stuff like that. And I think, I don't know. I want to hear the roundtable on what people think. I'm pro and all for it.
Yeah.
Yep.
How much caffeine do you guys take in a day?
Well, I'll just have coffee in the morning. No coffee in the afternoon.
Yeah, I'm about the same. 1 cup, maybe 2 in the morning.
Yeah.
I'd like you guys to define cup, because the Americans like to say cup,
Well,
but
it
it's like
depends. I might
16
have-
ounces to 24 ounces mug is a cup, right?
Depends if I have an espresso or coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I usually take a double shot of espresso before a morning workout.
Yeah. Workout.
Or a caffeinated gel, depends on what but normally an espresso. And then my normal coffee is a 20-ounce travel mug.
Yeah. So I think coffee is good.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing.
Yeah, nothing wrong
Nothing
with
bad
nothing bad with caffeine. So
Okay.
it's the best performance enhancing drug. Like I actually think they've like the performance benefit from caffeine is stronger than like EPO and stuff.
Yeah.
So
And the fact that it's a diuretic or anything like that, does that mean you have to drink more water? Does that mean you have to put more electrolytes? What do you guys say?
I don't think it makes a
No, I
difference.
don't think so.
I don't know enough about this to comment.
Yeah, I agree. I think you don't have to worry too much about
Yeah, I don't think it.
replenishing that. I think, having a cup or double shot of espresso or a single
Yeah.
shot of espresso is great. I definitely get to the point for me where it stops having a little bit of an effect and I dial it back a little bit.
Mhm.
And I definitely want it to have that effect on me. So I keep monitor the caffeine intake that I have throughout training.
I try, and I'm just not good at dialing it back. I'm literally addicted to it, and I get a headache.
Yeah,
if
me too.
if I don't drink it.
I think that's a common thing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean you're literally addicted to the compound. So
I've tried. I'll give it up for like a week before the race.
yeah.
Then
Why?
have it.
Well, just
'Cause-
like you said,
yeah.
you can come off of that addiction, or like I can't
You need
even call it.
less.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then
the
you
the
need less.
effect is greater if you
Theoretically,
have,
I
if you've
don't-
abstained for a little while.
Yeah, I don't know
Yeah.
if it's true but yeah.
I don't go to 0, but I will, instead of having 2 cups a day, I'll go to like 1 and maybe
Mhm.
half a cup and then kind of regulate that way.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah. So what is in your hydration? It's like electrolytes. Anything special? Anybody?
Nothing special. I
Just
kind of
electrolytes.
shoot for about 1,000 milligrams per liter or so. So I'll use the Precision Hydration 1500, which is each of those
5.
tabs is 750. So you either put 2 in a liter bottle or SOS hydration. I like the flavor of. And sometimes if I'm doing like an all-in-one and trying to make kind of like James said the whatchamacallit, the what's the one the tailwind. I'll add some electrolytes to my whatever fueling thing I've got.
James.
I was just laughing because I have the
You don't think
Precision-
about all those?
No, I have Precision 1500 tablets also.
Do you not
But-
put what do you put in?
Did you not realize that it takes 2 of those to?
Yeah, I
to
just
get
realized this
1500?
right now. And
Yeah.
so I had how
It
many
is kind of false advertising because the bottle says 1,500. That's not. One tablet is half of that.
So how big is that speed fill thing we have? Like 40 ounces?
you need a lot of tablets. Yeah.
I put like 2 or 2.5
Oh my
in
God.
there for muscle mass. So maybe,
You were drinking water, basically.
yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I probably had to empty like the whole tube in there.
Yeah.
No, I mean it's how big is that thing? 40
It's
ounces.
like 40 ounces.
So that's just over a liter. That's a liter and
Mhm.
a quarter. So like 2.
For a hot race.
How many did you put in? 4.
I put in like 2.
2 is less than 1,500, but probably close to 1,000.
For a
and
hot
then, like,
race,
I filled it again, but I still only had those.
Oh,
Those
well then
same
two.
and on a hot race, I've done 2.5 of a 500 in a
Okay.
bottle.
that's a lot. That's salty.
I sweat a lot.
Is there a limit to how much your body's going to absorb?
It's a good question. I don't have the answer to that.
Yeah, I don't know. We need to go see them in the city.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We should make a field trip. I think
Mhm.
I keep saying I want to contact the that office,
Mm-hmm.
and then put it out to the team if a group of us want to do it, and then we can make it a day in the city too, maybe, and hang out.
Funny when you brought it up. I went and did just a little bit of research on PubMed. There was a study just come out a year or two ago that looked at exercise-induced sweating versus the chemically induced sweating, and they both start off at the same spot. And one of the general thoughts was that your salt concentration doesn't really change as you exert yourself, and so, like, once you sweat, you're going to sweat the same salt before. It doesn't matter how hard you're exerting yourself. This study actually found that you sweat saltier when your exertion level goes up. So even the chemical tests, that should probably be your low
baseline.
end, and then go up from there. So some people
So
might be
temperature is going to matter.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You're going to sweat more. And again, if you're losing more
More
water,
effort.
more salt, you have to replace as much of that as you can. You don't have to replace it gram for gram. Like that's pretty much impossible probably, but come close. It also changes with your heat adaptation and stuff like that. When you get more adapted to heat, you're going to sweat more, but it's going to be less concentrated. So you're going to lose more water, less salt. So you'll cool better, but not lose as much salt.
Yeah, and I've heard, this is not by any means an accurate test, but if you lick your lips after a hard workout, and if it's really salty, you can say, I'm a really salty sweater. I don't know how accurate that is. I'm not saying that's a very accurate test, but I think people can kind of get it some sense.
Well, I think
maybe.
you see people finish races and they're covered
They're
with
all white.
those white
Mhm.
salt stains and stuff like that.
So are you only supposed to lick your own lips, or you lick someone else's lips and
knew
test
that
it for them?
I knew that was coming. Did you wait for Marilyn to take a sip?
Almost. You almost got me.
You do you.
Because you kind of get acclimated to your own.
You
self,
do you. Are there other people asking you to lick them?
Yeah.
I don't know.
When I see team sweat test on the Facebook page, I'm
A
gonna
little bait and switch.
I'm gonna go
Okay.
somewhere else.
Now that
day.
we've talked about hydration, is there a limit to the nutrition, to the carbs you can take in an hour? Now there's
Well,
new studies coming out
there
now,
are,
right?
yeah,
New
and I
things
mean,
happening in that
so
space.
let's talk about where we're at with that. So I think when we're talking about fueling, for most of us, and having seen you guys and trained with you guys, we're pretty much talking carbs, right? Like nobody's thinking about taking in protein or fat during their rides, and if it goes in as
I'm always thinking about it. I'm not
but
doing
it's like the
it.
cheeseburger afterwards, right?
I mean, I did do Uncrustables, which has some fat, but from the peanut butter.
Yeah.
And that was a
When
good
did you
race
do
for me
that?
for AC.
Oh, yeah? You carried Uncrustables?
Yeah, I taped it right to the front of the bike and had it in the wrap. I took two of
amazing.
them and it worked out. Maybe that's what I'm missing. Maybe I need to bring that back.
Maybe.
Maybe that's the key.
Team Next Level powered by Uncrustables.
And like they're frozen, so it's perfect. Like they thaw by the time you're ready.
way before then, I bet. Are they?
Yeah.
They're good frozen too, though.
I never think about any other macronutrients other than carbs when I'm training. Maybe for an Ironman, when you're out there literally all day and you're not taking in your normal meals, I'd think about it and maybe just to choose something. But for me, it's all about carbs.
Yeah.
I did think about protein. I think I react well to it.
Yeah.
But I haven't done it. I'm still focused mostly on carbs.
Yeah, I remember years ago. I forget what brand. I think it was called Accelerate. Came out with stuff. They that whole 4-to-1 ratio thing of carbs to proteins. They made that. They put that in their regular drink, and it just didn't sit well with me. Like if it got hot, it was okay cold, but if it got hot, it wasn't good. Hammer Nutrition, I think, has some things with protein in it. There's only been once where I've ever smelt ammonia on me, which means you're like having some muscle breakdown. And that like maybe some protein in your food would help, but I
think 70.3 is right at that limit.
Yeah, I don't think it's an
you
issue.
Need, you need too much.
So where are you guys at then? Do you, anybody have like a go-to kind of fuel hydration or no a fueling strategy for how much you try and take in? Does it depend on the type of workout you're doing?
Yeah, it depends on the workout. Like an easy weekend ride that we'll do. Easy in quotes because sometimes, but maybe every half hour I'll take a gel.
It depends on
20 minutes.
what's in the actual nutrition. So sometimes I do one every 20 minutes, sometimes every 30 minutes.
Yeah, 20 or 30 minutes.
Yeah, you kind of have to see where you are and if you can stop or whatever you're doing. Was it about 60 to 80? Try to do that per hour.
Also depends on how hard the effort's going to be too.
Yeah, that's
like if we're just doing like endurance pace on the bike and the weather conditions are good, I can stretch to an hour, I think, without like with a gel every hour.
No, I do it before that.
What do you have? But you have some kind of fuel in your bottles or no?
Yeah, so I'll have the Tailwind, something with some extra carbs in there too.
But again, so this is kind of the situation where the carbs in the Tailwind are just bonus carbs.
Bonus. Like I just need at least the minimum, the gel, 1 gel an hour on an easy ride. And if it's harder, I'll do it every 30 minutes.
Yeah.
I try to not care about the effort. I try to do it for the practice and making sure that my body's digesting it. And if I can get more, I think I will. And a lot of people also will do better in a race. So if I can get to that 100, my gut can tolerate it. I'm going to try.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm going to get.
For Muscle Man, I did like 4 gels an hour on the bike. And I think that helped me a lot.
Yeah, I was doing 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I did 4. I went and took in 1,000 calories on the bike there.
Yeah, I did 4 an hour, and then on the run, I think I did every 20 minutes. I took a gel.
So how many grams of carbs were we?
25.
I was shooting.
No. Each gel has 25.
For an hour.
Oh, for an hour. So
it's 100.
100.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I was shooting for around there. And so I'm trying to see if I can tolerate more than that. It's easier for me to do it indoors when I can everything's easy to kind of measure and time and lay out and stuff. I did a ride over the weekend where I did 180 grams in an hour and a half. So it's 120 in an hour. And I felt fine. Nice. Now that I don't know what happens at 3 hours of doing that,
How did you feel the rest of the day? More
fine.
Energetic.
Yeah. I don't know if I even thought about it. It wasn't a super intense ride. It was just some work at my first lactate threshold. I was at 180 watts or so for hour and a half.
Yeah. So for our listeners to just dial it back, I think that most people are trying to do 60 an hour, and now more studies have now come out.
Right. So 60 an hour was kind of the old go-to standard. Your gut can only absorb 60 grams of glucose an hour. And so that's where that number came from. And that's where people started being like, oh, you can, take in this. And then depending on the type of sugar it is, so glucose, you are kind of capped at pretty close to 60 to 70 grams an hour. But if you mix in another form of sugar like fructose, then you can take in more than that. And at first it was like, well, you can do 60 grams of glucose and 30 grams of fructose. It brings you to 90. So that's sometimes why you hear 60 to 90. Most of the stuff out now says that the fructose number is trainable and you can get upwards 120, 150 grams an hour.
And to me, that's free wattage. That's free gains. That's free speed.
Oh, it's not free. You're buying
you're buying all the stuff.
Well, I mean,
it's
stuff that I can take in to give me that. It's like having,
not having to increase your fitness.
Yeah.
And I told you guys too what I did at Muscle Man, which I will never change that, is instead of taking it, waiting the 15 minutes, or every 10 minutes I was taking on gel, which is easy to do on my tri-bike because it's between my bars, but I feel like I never got that dip. I just kind of stayed steady throughout the whole thing.
Yeah, I set a timer every 15 minutes to go off. And
which when you were talking about missing your gel on the race.
Yeah.
It's such a good idea. I didn't do it for my first race, but I set a timer now. Even on our regular rides, I have it on my bike computer and it alerts me time to eat.
Will your Garmin, can you send an alert for food on your watch if you're doing a run workout?
Yes.
That's what I need to do.
It'll go off even when I do workouts because I haven't taken it off. But
I need to do that.
And do it by time, not distance.
Yeah.
Yep. So how about like real foods versus sports specific? I mean, you said you use, you've used Uncrustables in a race, but how about like everyday training? Are you guys all using some kind of sports nutrition product, or are anybody going to real food?
My stomach is sensitive, so I am using sports nutrition, and it's usually pretty bland flavors. I did like that one cola flavor thing that was around. That was good, but usually it's not real food. I don't want to. My body doesn't want to digest that, process that, and it's usually some sort of light flavor to it.
James?
Early on, I used to do Cliff Bars also. I just wanted something, like you said, like something to chew on versus just like a gel.
Yeah.
I don't do it as often anymore now because I think I'm just used to the gels, but I used to want to have like actual food. Yeah. If I could have a pizza on the bike, I would have a pizza.
I would just think it'd be cool to like just be biking or running and just like have a pizza in your hand.
I think if you were like a pizza delivery guy in New York City, you could do that.
You could do that.
If I was a pizza delivery.
Oh, if only.
If only.
I'll be back. Hydration issues.
What about you, Marilyn?
The only time I'll have real food usually is on the trainer. I have a Cliff Bar or tangerine.
Yeah.
But outdoors it's harder. Sometimes I'll bring a bar on an outdoor easy ride, but mostly outside I have gels.
Yeah. I'll go to the food, like you said, like indoors on the trainer, especially like if I wake up and I need, I'm hungry, I need something in my stomach, because sometimes I'll just get started and like I've got that empty stomach that I need food, but I'm kind of the same thing. I just want it to be easy. I also want it to be measurable and kind of just like know what I'm taking in.
Right.
So, do you guys give any thought to types of carbs when you're taking stuff in, or is it just like, I think like if you stick to that 60 to 90, you really don't have to care too much about what you're taking in. But I do think once you start pushing beyond that, it is something you have to think about.
Well, I make sure it has two forms.
Yeah.
Whatever I
You
get.
really like the Power Bar stuff, right?
Yeah. I've been on that for a while now.
Yeah. And so that's got glucose and fructose to in a 2-to-1 ratio. So 2 parts glucose, 1 part fructose.
Yeah, like you said, only if it's going, for a longer period of time and I'm trying to mix in.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's easy to and that's the other thing where it's nice to just go with one kind of thing, is you're not trying to like, okay, well my drink has got this mix in it and it's this many grams and my gels have got this much. It's easier and that's where separating your hydration and your fueling is kind of makes life a whole lot easier to just keep track of like, okay, my nutrition is going to be this many calories per hour, and I know it's the right ratio because it's only one thing.
It's easier to keep track of.
Yeah, 100%. So anything else that we should talk about with regards to, getting that hydration and fueling right for your workouts?
For workouts, I think we've covered a lot. I think I personally prefer to race with what I've been using. And I know people get stuff from the race itself, and I've tried that a few times. I don't know. It's
not the best idea.
I just feel like whatever I've been using, I react to it better. Even if the stuff on the race table is similar or the same, it's just feels different. I don't know. Maybe it's a mental thing, but
you just never know too.
Yeah.
Like if they run out or something.
Yeah, that would be terrible, right? You count on the race day stuff, and
I've never seen that.
You're at the sharp end of the race. You're at the front.
When you're when you're in the elite wave, they take care of you.
That's a good one. That was a good one. Thank you.
I have to say, like, I had a lot of gels in my pockets for that last race, and I was like, it would have been nice if I didn't have to carry. I had like 4 and 4, and then I had one in. I wore a mini like fanny pack too.
Yeah.
To have that one in the beginning.
The good thing is if you do a race and they have something that you've taken before, or you can start off with, let's say, if you plan to take 10, you start off with only 5.
Yes.
And then you grab as you're eating. So you have, and then you replace with what they have, so you don't have to carry all 10.
So I did see some people that had these like running belts.
Yeah,
Mhm.
with the
like
little
holsters.
things.
I was like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's kind of cool.
Yeah. They make all different kinds of
Yeah.
little gizmos for that kind of stuff.
No,
Yeah,
but-
for Philly, I think it was tough. Like Iron Man is nice. They have all the Morton stuff,
Mhm.
right? Those are usually the
What did
gels.
Philly have?
Gatorade brand
and
gels.
Burn.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, which unless you're training, like that's,
Yeah,
one of
that's-
those things you don't want to
Yeah.
try on race day.
Off topic note, so Mo, a lot of people haven't met him, but he's on our tri team. He's thinking about joining for next year too. He doesn't take nutrition really on his runs, and he ran a 3:05 at Philly. He's been trying to break 3 hours, and he tried a couple gels like at the race. I think he had 2 gels and then hydration for that
Mhm.
entire thing. It was like me preaching to him, which is weird because I was like, Mo, if you start taking
Right. Imagine how much
gels in,
faster
Yeah.
he could have gone.
you're gonna break
2:30.
3. Like that's
How
his
did
goal.
I wonder how he felt during.
I think he's just used to like feeling like
Terrible.
like tired at the end and not being able to like. He finishes strong like
Uh-huh.
compared to us, but I think he could easily go into the 2s like
Mhm.
Yeah.
with proper fueling.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he probably looked at you like you had 6 heads when you told them you took in 10 gels during the marathon, right?
Right.
I'm
It's
also like a
oh,
lot
yeah.
slower, but he's like, yeah, man, I don't need to take advice from you probably.
I think that's kind of a classic, I think, but all endurance sports are kind of steeped in history or legacy, whatever you want to call it. And one of them with running is just,
Just running.
just run.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. The guy who ran the first marathon ever collapsed and died.
yeah.
Just
Uh,
saying.
I couldn't remember if that was a real story or just like Greek mythology or something. Because wasn't that like that's how
Pretty sure
Yeah.
it's
the
real.
marathon came?
Yes.
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 Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to talk about the history of marathon here now, right?
No.
Okay.
No.
No.
We're back to nutrition and
yeah.
hydration and weather. And I think, I keep it the same. Try to keep it as simple as possible. This is just too much. Try to keep it always the same. This stuff that I eat and how much of it and how much
Yeah.
I drink. And
Yeah, me too.
Just try to keep it the same.
I will say I'm at this, like in the winter, it's a good time to try different stuff and try
Mhm.
different brands, try different flavors. I just picked up a bunch of like Never Second. I've seen their stuff, their ads and stuff. I picked up their stuff. Just try. Try different drink mixes. Like try them out, find different flavor. Like when it's a no kind of, it doesn't really matter if it doesn't sit well with you. You buy a small tub of the drink
Agreed.
mix or something like that, and just see if there's anything out there that you like.
Yeah. Just today I was looking for that cola flavor again.
Oh yeah.
Greg, are you gonna make any more of your own special custom batch? I
Sauce.
guess?
Yeah, so I was that's what I used for that 180 gram, like 120 gram an hour ride. Is I mixed up my own stuff, which like when you start thinking about the cost of things, it can get really expensive, and I don't want to spend $25 for a ride just in nutrition. So what I started doing is I bought a tub of maltodextrin, which is unbelievably cheap, and then a couple of pounds of fructose powder, and just weigh them out and add some. You ever see the packets of? I think they're called like True Lemon, True Lime in like the grocery store. People add them to their tea or their hot water or something.
Yeah.
And it's just like crystallized, dehydrated lime, and I have those for flavoring, and some salt and stuff like that. And mix
You
it up.
measure out the salt. I know you measure out the salt.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to.
Yeah, I have to measure it out.
What do you use to mix up the whole thing?
It depends. So sometimes I'll put it in like an old jug from a protein powder or an empty one, and just shake the hell out of it. Other times I just mix it in the bottle. Like, if I'm doing it
you
for
just, like-
a ride, I just put the bottle on a scale, put the stuff in, and then add water.
Oh, so it's not like a big meth lab operation where
It
No.
sounds like it
No.
is.
you just do it like scoop, scoop, scoop. Okay.
I mean,
It'll
I'll weigh
get
it,
there.
but
Give it
yeah.
a couple months.
It's the story. You guys ever use Scratch
Yeah.
hydration
Yeah.
stuff?
Mhm.
So the story behind them is the guys, Alan Lim, started making his stuff for pro cyclists who he used to work with, and they were like, "Hey, can you mix up some of your secret drink mix for us?" And he started buying paint buckets, empty paint buckets, obviously,
God.
and bringing them to the hardware store to get shook up. They'd put it all in, seal the lids, and then bring them to the hardware store, and they'd shake the hell out of them to, even everything out. And that was the start of Scratch Labs. So,
Say we have a new project.
yeah. I think I gave you
You
some
did.
of it.
It was good.
Yeah.
I liked it.
And you can tweak the flavor and stuff like that. And it's, you're able to dial that stuff in.
I really had to trust that it wasn't going to kill me or there was
Well, I
something
wouldn't-
illegal in there.
I
or-
wouldn't have given it to you if I hadn't tried it and used it myself.
Here's this unlabeled bottle with white powder in it.
Yeah.
Just drink this.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So we're getting close on time here. Last one little thing, outdoor rides. You go outside, 5-hour ride. You carrying everything with you, or you stopping at a convenience store for some Twinkies and Ho-Hos?
I mean, we stopped.
You have to, right? Because you only have like 2 cages, let's say, right? And
Yep.
20-ounce bottles.
Mhm.
You need more than that.
Yeah, you got to stop, especially if it's hot.
And when it's cold and you have gloves on, it's so much harder to put that nutrition pack down. So
Yeah.
if you're carrying it, like I'll do like a 1 water, 1 hydration, 1 nutrition, and then you run out much quicker. So
Yeah.
You carry the little bottles of your nutrition in your bag.
it's you can
Yeah,
do
I like
little
that-
bottles.
Those little bottles you have,
Yeah.
Marilyn.
That's why I like the Power Gel because
Mhm.
it's liquid. So I put them in little bottles and put them in my pockets.
Yeah, Power Gel, if you're listening, we're still
Yeah.
waiting for our sponsorship deal there.
And I wish they just made some more flavors.
Yeah, they could use some more flavors and
I got used to it. It's all right.
The orange one is fine. I just don't like the mojito. I
Mhm.
can't.
Like a cola caffeine one would be nice.
you could
Stop.
mix. You could do what I do. I mix
That's
the
why
orange
I bought
and
the
I do.
Never
makes
Second.
sense. Yeah,
They
it makes
have a
sense.
caffeinated cola gel.
Mm.
It's the same consistency as the SIS gels. So that's why I tried them. Because I love like those Coke bottle
Mhm.
things that
Yeah.
the Power Bar makes. I
Yeah.
love
Oh,
those things.
The texture is the texture is really good
Yeah.
on them.
So much good stuff out there to try, folks.
Try it all, but try it in the off season.
Yeah, try it now when there's kind of no downside to it not going well for you.
Mhm.
Anything else to add, folks, before we wrap this one up?
Good stuff.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks everybody for listening. If you like this episode, please give us a follow, subscribe to the podcast, leave a comment, drop us a note with some ideas for the show. And until next time, we'll talk to you later. All right. Thanks, everybody. Thank you again for listening to the Team Next Level Coaches Roundtable. We love bringing you content that we think will help you with your athletic journey, whatever that may be. If you enjoy this podcast, please leave a review, drop us a 5-star rating in whatever podcast app you like to use, or leave us a comment about things you'd like to hear in the future. If you'd like to learn more about Team Next Level and all we offer, please go check out our website, goteamnltry.com. That's goteamnltry.com. There, you can find out about all the things we offer, such as our training squad for people in the northern New Jersey area, one-on-one coaching options for both local and remote athletes, as well as more useful content for those of you just looking to learn a little bit more about us. Remember, that's goteamnltry.com. Thank you again for giving us a listen, and for myself and all the coaches, we can't thank you enough for listening to our podcast and spending some time with us.